Hello everybody, I'm starting this video series where I'm teaching people how to read and write and speak and, understand Japanese and whatnot. And I'm doing this because I'm still learning it, and I feel that if I teach it to somebody else, such as my audience, I'm sure that you guys, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna learn something, because one, I'm forced to learn something, and also if I get something wrong, people are gonna correct me in the comments, and so I learn either way. So here's the thing. I've already learned a bit of Japanese, but I suck at the vocabulary, and I can show you my notes. So these are some of my notes from college. These are the stuff that I learned from Chinese, which is related to Japanese kanji, the cultural exchange and whatnot. Here's some of the data art notes that I took. I've taken a lot of notes, and here's some of my multivariable calculus, but this is when I was studying some linear algebra, but there's some Japanese notes right about here. Verb, extensions, formal, want thing, and then there's just like logical particles and all this stuff. I've been studying Japanese for some time, but honestly, the vocabulary and whatnot is kind of my weak suit. So, yeah. So what I plan to do is essentially teach what I know from what I've learned from other people, mainly Kirdali, because she's the one who teaches very, very good grammar, which is the thing I am completely, it is easy to get. It's just memorizing all the kanji, which I haven't even started, and it's not that big of a problem, necessarily memorizing all the kanji. But it's more that I don't bother learning the vocabulary. I understand the grammar completely, but when it comes to reading the actual words, I have about no fucking idea what's going on, because I don't recognize the words or the kanji or whatever. So I'm going to essentially, in tandem, teach you guys about grammar while also introducing lots of vocabulary, because I'm also going to have to memorize all the vocabulary that I'm teaching, which is really fucking annoying, because I'm not gonna use this much in daily conversation, which is like the one thing that you're supposed to do when you're learning another language, like actually put it to use, or else you're just gonna forget. Like, I'm Chinese, and I've forgotten how to write almost all of it. Well, I can still read it, but if I had to write it from scratch, I have no fucking idea what the hell to do. So by teaching, I'm essentially not only putting into use the Japanese that I know, I'm also going to have to find ways to get you guys to use it as well, which is, I don't know, maybe you guys can just talk to yourselves in your head and say stuff, but, maybe that might get boring. But I mean, at least that's not cringe when just like speaking out loud, I guess, as long as you understand the basic grammatical structure and the words. So you in theory you should be able to speak, but fuck it, let's just fucking begin. I will assume that you've already memorized how to read and write hiragana and katakana, because it's not too difficult. It's just like memorizing, a different alphabet. Like, you can imagine hiragana as like like lowercase letters, and katakana is like uppercase. It's not too different anyway, in my opinion, because, it's just, this is not the same as this written, and well, I mean, Z and Z are always gonna be like that, but there's also like Q and then Q. They're not shaped the same, but we still associate them with each other. But yeah, no, it's not too hard. It's just like daily. You're gonna use it everywhere. You're always gonna memorize it, so long as you're willing to read it. But yeah, no, it's not that difficult. And every single Japanese app that you ever will stumble across is always going to teach you how to memorize these characters. There is some other characters. I know there's like some Wii character, but that's like really old, and so you'll probably never see it in daily readings or whatnot. I don't think anybody really uses it, but yeah, let's get started then. In the same way that like English sentences are structured, basic sentences are usually composed of certain elements, nouns, and then objects and whatnot. I am not an English teacher, alright? I don't remember anything about like linguistics or whatever. I have not done any college education about this and how to teach this, so do forgive me that I'm not really professional about this and can explain it in a really technical sense, but essentially you always have a thing, a person, who is something or does something. This is common in essentially every single language. He, or I guess let's not use he quite yet, because we're always gonna start out with names. He and she and whatnot always have like their she, her, and miss or whatever, you know, there's like different forms of that. So let's just say this guy's name is Tim. Tim is man. Yes. Tim is man. Tim is man. Yes. Or Tim walks. So maybe he's walking a bit. These are completely full-on sentences. It's the same in Chinese as well. Tim. Sure. I completely forgot how to fucking... Oh no, oh man, I think it's supposed to be this, then this. I think there's supposed to be something like that. Sure, none. I think it's supposed to be... No, wait, that's power, right? Or, I guess no, yeah. Man, none, ren. I remember that man was written with like grass field with power. So yes. Actually, I wrote that as fucking... I wrote that as instead of like run. Fuck. And fuck. Okay. Wow, that was embarrassing. That is not how you're supposed to write that in Chinese. But yeah, that's how. And Tim, in Japanese, essentially has the same kind of thing. Essentially, you can either be or do something. Those are the only things you can really do with conversation, I guess. Okay, I probably should have, So, of course, since we're learning Japanese, we probably should use a different name. So, we will call him Takeshi, which I believe is written I completely forgot how to write that. Takeshi. This is in hiragana. That's this dude's name, and he can be anything he wants. He can be a piece of shit. He can do various things, like have sex. He can run towards a car shouting sex at the top of his lungs, and trying to become the embodiment of sex itself. So, that's our person that we are going to use for our examples. And in Japanese, the format of how sentences are, it's not, you know, subject, object, well, I guess subject, verb, object, which is generally how English and Chinese works. You have, like, Takeshi, run, like, you know, runs away from, or, you know, throws a ball. Takeshi, kicks a ball. In Japanese, it's subject, object, verb in this format. And in, I guess, to put it in a sentence, I guess, let's change color. I'm doing this with a fucking mouse, alright? I'm too lazy to get my drawing pad out. Takeshi ga... Okay, I've kind of fucked up that, huh? Okay. Takeshi ga... Oto. What's the character for a guy? Fuck it. I am too lazy to remember the fucking kanji for that, so... Or, you know what, I could just do it all in fucking hiragana, because that's about all I remember. I think it's... no... Is that O? Yes, it is. Okay. I completely forgot so much. I can read it. I just... Oto no ko. Oto no ko. I think that is child fuck. I don't remember any of the vocabulary. This is why it's the weakest suit. This is why I'm sucking at it. And da. Of course, you know, why did I use ga and da when, like, some of the other classes, like in some of the, like, maybe if you've been in Japanese class or whatever, you probably use, like, wa instead. This is technically ha, but it's read wa for some accursed fucking reason. I do not know why. But this is technically not the correct structure where you're supposed to use for a very, very basic structure. This is something, is like mostly to do like some kind of designation of like in regards to, or like trying to designate something as like the subject, or like in regard, like that's what the sentence is about, but not necessarily, you know, generally referring to. So it will get confusing if you use wa instead of ga, which is literally what this is very supposed to be, and da instead of desu, which desu. I think that's su. Yes, thank God I remember that correctly. Desu is the polite form, but this is more direct and more simple, from what I've learned from Cure Dolly, which unfortunately I'm gonna have to ask you to watch her videos because I utterly suck at explaining these things. Shit. But yeah, no, that's like the basic structure of a being sentence, I guess. Takeshi is a boy, I guess. Otonoko, right? That is how you pronounce it, right? I gotta fucking make sure. How do... Danshi. Okay, so I kind of really fucked up there. Okay, then. I thought it was written like, oh, fuck me. Alright, yeah, no, this is why I utterly suck at vocabulary. I have nothing to back me up right now. Fuck. But, let's just erase all of that. But there's also, like, Takeshi ga, I think. Ru. Ru is, I think, this. That's Ro. Ru has a little this. Aruku. I think. Walk. Fuck. I turned that L into a K. That is not what I was supposed to do. Fuck. But this is... I don't think you need to add, like, da at the end of an action word, which is aruku, which is aruku. Also, in regards to pronunciation, this is something I learned, not related to the grammar or whatnot, but you can imagine like a metronome or something, which is how I remember being when I was like researching it. Like, you're just supposed to go like like a bit oscillating. Takeshi ga Takeshi aruku, I guess. I don't know if I should put the ga in there. I gotta fucking check. Okay, yeah, I'm supposed to add ga. Ga designates the subject of the sentence. So you could say something like, Wolfie, I am too fucking lazy to write the kanji, not kanji, the, whatever, hiragana, katakana, I am too lazy. This designates the subject of the thing. And everything else. Aruku doesn't require the da, it's like its own thing. And then there's also adjectives, right? Is that what it's called? Fuck. I am not that refreshed on writing it. Give me a break. I have to... Oh, I need to fucking... Whoops! Shit! Okay, I at least remember this, alright? So this is like red. This means red. This, I mean, I'm not red, but I'm actually Midori, green, but for the sake of the sentence, this sentence gives you the information that Wolfie here, this subject, Wolfie, is red. And yeah, that's essentially how the most simple structure of Japanese works. Essentially just putting a subject before the verb and object, which, you know, yeah, and also in regards to pronunciation, I sometimes struggle with that, but, you know, because if you say woofy and then switch to Japanese, you're gonna have to switch from, like, natural pronunciation, switch all the way to, like, you have to switch, like, your natural pronunciation of English to the metronome accent thing to speak Japanese if you don't want to sound like a Yankee Doodle tried to speak Japanese, like Takeshi ga aruku. No, that's fucking that fucking embarrassed me to even say. But yeah, no, you're supposed to go with like a metronome kind of thing. Just go, Takeshi ga aruku. Or something like that. Takeshi ga aruku. Takeshi wa... Takeshi ga... kusai da. Kusai desu. Unfortunately, though, my thing is still incredibly shit. So, sorry. I still sound like a bit of a... I still sound very, very American with the way I pronounce Japanese, despite my great attempts to try and mimic this. Especially since I watched so much fucking tokusatsu back when I was a kid. I understand some level of, like, how it's spoken, so I'm not gonna go like, Takeshi ga aruku! And then it's something that is like the biggest pet peeve of mine when people pronounce a completely different language when, like, let's just write it in, you know, in romanization, right? Some people just fucking read like Takeshi ga aruku or some shit. Like I just don't know why people fucking do that. Like, it's a completely different language. It has different rules. Like, I know it's written in English, but you're not supposed to. It's just to make it easier. But it's like it's genuinely like the biggest pet peeve. And again, I probably can't say shit because I'm still learning languages. I'm not fluent in neither Chinese or Japanese. I can understand my mom talking about lots of shit, no problem, until she starts talking about shit I've never heard about, like taxes in Chinese. I have never heard of the word before, nor am I used to it. I'm used to fucking being told dinner's ready and favorite toys and is that show good? And oh my god, he likes Japanese women. He really likes Japanese women. He has like pictures of them naked in his computer. Fucking bitch, just fucking. What am I supposed to say? She fucking did that to me straight up. I still cannot get over that. And they found my fucking drawings too of I fucking drew hentai, and then she was just like, "Oh my god, my son is learning how to. Oh my god, his drawings are so good. Look at these naked anime women. Look at these naked Japanese cartoon women." But also, a lot of Japanese, well actually, I think all the Japanese words from what I gathered from this video, and from what I've observed, is that anything that ends with I, with like, it could just be nothing there, or just I itself, is essentially, adjective. And anything else, I'm not sure, but if you have to add a da on the sentence, like, actually, let me just make this thing real quick, like akai is red, midori, dekai, green, big. Generally, all those words tend to be adjectives. And anything that ends with u, you, in the thing, tends to be an action. Aruku and taberu, walk,
and eat. Taberu. And what other words? Utao, which is sing, and they all end in u, so we can associate that with actions or verbs. Yay! Anything else is probably a noun or some other thing, but generally, if you see this kind of stuff, you don't need to end like a sentence in da. You don't need to say akai da. You could say like, well, actually, an example of like a verb that is a noun that ends with a I. Kikai, machine. Learn that from Kikaider. Kikaida. Machine, Kikaida. Literally fucking pronounced that way. Jiro. Wa, or ga, actually. I am... Technically, it's a respectful way, I think, if you use wa, but... Jiro. Ga. Kikai. Da. This is a thing, I guess. Well, actually, I guess you don't need da then, because it's kikai. Or is it? I'm not sure. Let me fucking check. Never mind, you're not supposed to end that with da. In fact, Google Translate, I'm using Google Translate because it's fucking easy, even though it's technically wrong, but it can translate, like, super simple sentences, like, you know, someone is something. It won't fail at that completely. It's a really simple sentence. Not even machines can fuck that up. It's only when it gets complicated and there's nuances and requires context or whatnot that translations really fail. And also, if the machine is programmed to mistranslate certain words, which I can tell you some of them, but never fucking mind. You do not need kikai da on there. If I just add da, then I mean the sentence doesn't really change, but I think it's kind of redundant, isn't it? I have no idea if that's correct or not. Fuck. Shit, this is why I don't know enough Japanese. Shit, this is why I suck at vocabulary, because I'm not sure how the words apply, which ones count as, like... I mean, technically, kikai isn't an adjective, is it? Because, like, you could say, like, kono kikai ga akai, or dekai, kono kikai, or, you know, like, fuck. I am so sorry for introducing shit that you should not... I think this is ko, right? Please tell me that's ko. Nope. That is... ko. Did I write... Yeah, I wrote the katakana for that. Ko no... kono kikai ki... That is how I write it. I have no idea why the font fuses them together. I have no idea why. Kikai kika I kono kikai ga dekai or some shit. So that's yeah. Kono kikai ga, so it's like it can be a verb, but I'm not sure because like what the let me check again, because like da is a noun and you could say like something like ga Nihonjin. Okay, so I'm guessing that words that end with I, you don't need to really add a da at the end of it. Like, if it has an E or an U, then that is the wrong character. Da is not required if any of these two are present. You could just have the word by itself there. Da is only required if you are trying to say, like, they are Nihonjin, which is Japanese person, if I remember correctly, or if I understand that correctly. Fuck me. Yeah, no, like I said, my vocabulary is shit. I understand the grammatical system quite fine and the rules quite fine. It's just the words. Look, I suck at the words. Give me a break, all right? But you know, this is like the worst way to learn Japanese. I hope to God nobody's actually like watching these courses. I'm just here to like try and do something, like trying to teach myself Japanese by making these videos. But essentially, you're always gonna have a subject, which is always designated by ga, in connection with something that is. So I guess verb, which is generally a verb, or it could be an adjective, which is generally marked with da. Ends with e. Of course, it could be like any other form of E with like a consonant behind it. Or U. And of all those, U is a verb. And these two are states of being, I guess, if I had to describe it. Is something. So then, the only thing left is to just make a bunch of example sentences by looking through a dictionary and hopefully remember every single fucking word, because I am going to have to memorize them, because I struggle so fucking hard at reading words I do not understand. I know that they are a thing. Like, I understand whenever I read something with some, you know, like, thingamabob with ga attached to it, right? I know that this is the subject of the sentence, right? So I know that everything after it is regarding this thing. So it could be Takashi, it could be a game thing. Let's just do the... It could be a glass of water. Everything after this could be about it. But I have about no fucking idea what most of them are saying, because sometimes they have all this shit going on. And of course, this one's easy to read. This, well, I guess Japanese has a different reading for this. This is nan and nun. I don't remember the exact tones for this. This is Chinese, but for the Japanese reading, let me look it up real quick yet again, because I am not that bright. Dan. Kun. On. So, yeah, no, there's also two different readings for this, which I have no fucking idea how to really do. Kun is otoko, and dan is the on reading, which... Oh yeah, there's also just O by itself, which we can just do this, I guess. Right, that is how I write O, right? I've forgotten so much. And then there is none, which I'm not sure why. I've never seen. Well, actually, that does connect this with that, now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, no, I have about no idea about most of the kanji that's in the rest of the sentence. Like, I can't even read the names of the subject in kanji, but at least I know that's there. But then, whatever the fucking rest it's supposed to describe, it's just like, Takeshi ga, this, and it's just like, I mean, fuck? I don't understand shit because I don't know the words. So you see how incompetent I am at Japanese? I understand its grammatical system, but I completely, utterly suck when it comes to the actual words. So, you know, this is why I can't speak Japanese. I have no idea about half the shit I'm saying. So, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to... Let me look up a whole entire just like a complete list of various adjectives, verbs, and whatnot, and then, you know, show it as an example on video, because this is how most sentences are structured, of course, and hopefully showing these examples will help me learn, and hopefully I will fucking remember some bit of vocabulary. I should probably make it clear that what I mean by Japanese having an SOV structure compared to SVO in English is that Tim eats lunch. That's how we write it in English. It's different from Japanese where, you know, you write Tim ga gohan well, this is supposed to designate the object, by the way. This is a bit more complex structure, but we're just adding one more thing to the sentence, so it's not that complicated. Ta be ru. So, you know, this is lunch, and taberu is eat. So if we wanted to read it literally, Tim ga gohan o taberu, Tim lunch eat, in a really very literal translation sense. That's what I mean by the structure is different. But again, it's not that tough. And if you want to know, this is like, within languages, this is actually the most common form of how you organize sentence structures. English uses like the second most popular. There's also other weird stuff like saying the verb first, then the subject, then the object, object, verb, subject, verb, object, subject, and all the rest of the combinations and whatnot, which is about like, there's like 6 different combinations, you know, 3 times 2 times 1, you know, S, O, V, and then whatever's left, you know, maybe we have S first and O, V, and then whatnot. But yeah, no, those are generally how you... Those are like some of the different language structures which exist in this world. In the other languages, Chinese has this structure as well. Again, Tim... Fun. I don't remember how to write the Chinese characters for Tim eats food, rice. Tim fun. Tim eats fun, which is food. Tim Chirfan, and you know, that's just it. And don't fucking criticize me on my Chinese pronunciation, all right? I utterly suck at that. All right? I'm not fluent in Chinese tones, all right? I suck at tones. I hate memorizing them. There is no proper, you just have like this weird, stupid thing on top of it, and I don't remember it because I remember how to pronounce the main sounds, not the tone. This completely eludes me. And the fact that you could say, like, you could say ma, and you could be referring to, like, mom. Surprisingly, every single fucking language that I know of, always, ma is always going to refer to mom, no matter what. It could refer to horse. It could refer to weed, or you could use it as a question particle. Like, 你的妈妈是匹马吗? Yeah, you could use this as a question particle. Stick out in the end, you turn it into a question. Tim 是男人吗? Is Tim a man? Pima is horse. I'm not sure what the actual word for weed is, but I've heard that this is like the one of the tones which can refer to it. Generally, most people, Chinese people, if they understand, they'll generally understand you based on context clues, so you don't really even fucking have to do the tones. There's also like the neutral tone. Ma. Ma, 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 ma. And then there's like the fifth tone, which is just nothing above it. And I don't remember what's the difference with that one. But these are the four. There's like four tones. And although I'm able to pronounce it, having to memorize all of them for every single word I have to fucking pronounce. And then the fact that some of the words have like multiple tones all at once in there. Fuck no. But yeah, no, that's one of the fun things about Chinese. But generally, you don't have to memorize tones for that. And luckily, for Japanese, you don't even have tones. This oscillating metronome type of thing, where you're supposed to go, Tim ga gohan o taberu, which I fucked up. I'm not that good at pronunciation. Please don't fucking criticize me that badly. It's mostly just like a way to sound more natural. You could speak like a fucking Yankee. Tim ga gohan o taberu, and people will fucking understand you 100%. You just sound very, very. If you guys have ever mocked people with really bad accent who come from different countries, you will sound like that as you learn and speak this language. And I do recommend learning how to properly pronounce these characters if you so struggle and keep on pronouncing them like Yankee Doodle. Alright? Because I can tell you it's gonna be cringe, and honestly, even I do, because maybe I'm just fast at learning this shit, but I genuinely find it cringe when people pronounce like shit like sure, like she. Fucking. It's just so fucking annoying. It's just like, that's not how, it's just supposed to have a pronunciation, how to fucking read it. That's not how you're fucking supposed to pronounce it. But yeah, no, that's just one of the things that come with, that's just what I mean by like Japanese subject, object, verb. And of course I digress with all that, but yeah, no, enjoy learning other languages as well, because once you learn one language, you honestly can learn any other language, because it's generally about learning the grammar and then learning the words, and then, you know, essentially that's all there is to it. As you get better at like learning another language, you can essentially try to learn more complicated sentence structures and more words to, you know, properly express what you mean, and also learn like stuff like expressions and whatnot. Once you learn one language, you can learn anything else. And well, I could learn more Chinese, but I have not had much of a use for it, and honestly, I just mostly use machine translation, then review it just to make sure it's correct, because it's not that hard to see if the machine translation is wrong or not once you know the language and how it's actually structured. And you know, you can see redundancies and like overly politeness and the wrong words. You know, like sometimes, like if you mean like, ah, shit, Google Translate or any translate, including like what I will use, DeepL. Well, literally just would probably translate, like, literally translate this as not like an expression or a swear, but like the actual fucking word for, like, shit, poo, you know? So, if I translate shit, uncle. Ah, uncle. Luckily, sometimes they'll translate some of this stuff correctly, but if you ever try to use any form of expression or require context or whatever, translations will remove that and everything of the sort. So generally, when you know the language, machine translations, you can always just fix them up and make it easier, because once you know the general sentence structure, DeepL and Google make up for your vocabulary. Unfortunately, though, when you are trying to translate expressions, vocabulary and whatnot, it's unfortunate, but you can only translate like literal technical sentences. Like if you want to say like that guy is a scientist, you can easily translate that and correct any mistakes. It will always get the vocabulary and the words properly. But if you're trying to say like that dude is like, that dude's horse shit, Google will literally treat, like, Google is literally say, like, you're trying to call that guy, you know, you're trying to say that he's not a good person, you don't like him or whatnot. It's an expression of that, but, you know, Google Translate, DeepL will straight up just translate as, that guy is actually, literally, I'm not joking, I'm not figuratively exaggerating it, he is, in fact, horse shit. And, you know, unless you learn, like, expressions and whatnot in the language, unfortunately, these tools cannot help you out. At least not now, unless, like, AI technology becomes a bit better. But unfortunately, that's, like, the one thing you can't really do when you learn, another language, I get, or trying to, you know, if you want to try and cheat. I use these to cheat as much as possible, because again, I hate learning vocabulary. I have to learn like an entirely new set of words. And do you know how many words we know already by default, simply by just living here and speaking English? Like, you have no idea how we can just refer to a chair, we can refer to taxes, we can hospital, and then we can go loans, and we can refer to those loans as like unsubsidized and like subsidized as well, which I don't really fucking care about writing that twice. And we have like shit like euphoria. Another example of saying stuff like really happy. and, you know, ecstatic and whatnot. Like, you have to learn, like, not just the words to be happy, but, like, all these other forms as well. And, you know, it's all just... We know all these fucking words simply because we're native and we spoke it through since childhood. We gotta learn, like, not just the fucking words themselves, but their other forms, how to use them, advanced grammatical structures. Like, you have to memorize everything that you already know how to pronounce again. And that, in, like, keyboard, your computer monitor, your screen, different ways to say it, like my speakers, camera, my mic right here, my, like, drawing program, software, hardware. There's, like, an entirely different words. Like, some of them, like, are loan words, like apple in Japanese. I think it's just a loan word. Apuru, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure if I needed to add, like, a dash or something like that, but apuru is how you are supposed to pronounce apple. And cake is pronounced like cake. I think it's keiki. I don't remember what the proper romanization of that is. Keiki. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. But yeah, no. Some of them are loan words and aren't too hard to really do, since you just take from another language and whatnot. But yeah, no, that's why vocabulary is a pain in the ass for me, because I gotta learn, like, literally every single word again. I'd rather just learn the structures, but I guess that's the easiest part for me. I think other people struggle with the grammar, but grammar itself is not that tough. But, and also, like, in my regards to, like, Chinese as an experience, shit like piao liang, which is beautiful, is mainly referred to females, and unfortunately, when I called, like, men piao liang, it sounds gay as fuck, and I did not realize that. So, yeah, no, you're also gonna have to make sure that you aren't saying something really fucking yabai, really fucking bad, real fucking oh shit, when you're trying to fucking speak another language. So, you know, yeah, no, that's the fun of learning words. So here's some example words that I want to remember somewhat. Itamu. Takeshi ga itamu. Takeshi is hurt. Takeshi ga resureru. Takeshi forgot. Takeshi ga omo. Takeshi is thinking. I guess that's how I'm. Fuck. I am stupid as all hell. Takeshi is thinking. Takeshi ga yoi. Yoi. Yeah, no. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I think I'm supposed to pronounce it as one syllable. Takeshi is good. Takeshi ga yasashi. Takeshi is kind. Takeshi ga rinikui. Takeshi is ugly. Takeshi ga warui. Takeshi is evil. Takeshi ga oboeru. Takeshi ga oboeru, which is Takeshi is learning, remembering something. Takeshi ga kurushimu. Kurushimu, which is to suffer. And that's about as many words as I'm probably going to fucking remember. Now that I know how to remember, I just know these are really common verbs, so not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna forget them. But I mean, you can always, like, I don't know, if you want to dedicate some of your memory to this shit, you can always, like, I don't know, maybe eat a burger or something and say, like, this burger, この burger が素晴らしい is great. I think that's how 素晴らしい wonderful, it's wonderful. And, you know, 俺が苦しむ I am suffering right now. I am suffering. I am suffered. Or some shit like that. I don't know. If you guys want to try and incorporate that into your thoughts and, like, replace some of your thoughts that you usually, you know, like, instead of thinking in English, you could try and think in Japanese, which is something I somewhat do. But, unfortunately, though, I do not know enough of the words. So, 俺の日本語が本当やばいです。I also am naturally using wa because it sounds more natural than ga for me, but my Japanese is very bad. Is bad. Really shit. But yeah, no, I have no idea if I'm gonna memorize these words, but I mean, it's a start, right? I mean, I'm learning the words, so, you know, that's something. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to learn, like, the words for actual things like chair and phone and whatnot, because, unfortunately for me, there's more to just Japanese structure than simply using subjects and then adding essentially a lot of verbs and adjectives. Simply to the end. You could say stuff like Takeshi ga o to ko da. Takeshi is a boy. He has a penis. And, you know, unfortunately, you're gonna have to memorize the word for boy, ball, disco. I don't know, you know, have a disco. Cyborg, well, they're the same word, actually. It's a loan word, so you don't have to worry about that. Cyborg in Japanese is cyborg. Cyborg. Just make it sound Japanese, honestly. That's about it. There's also probably, like, stuff like musicians. That you have to learn the Japanese variant of the word for. So, you know, verbs aren't that hard to remember, not going to lie. And adjectives and whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be a fucking while, isn't it? But it's a start. It's a start. I don't fucking care. It's a start, isn't it? So in summary, subjects of a sentence are designated with this ga character. You can put like a name or whatever you're talking about, and then describe what it's doing using an adjective, which tends to end with an E. You can describe it using as an object, like it is an object, which you can add a dot to the end to signify it. Object has to be there. And which is essentially verbs, and these are essentially is, I guess, or rather, this is what it is and what it doing. Is and doing. Action. This is an action. These are things about the thing. Qualities, quirks, details about the thing. What it is, what the subject is, what is a part of the subject and whatnot. This is an action. Wu Tao eats, and there's also walk, which is aruku, and whatnot, and that's essentially it. And Kiradali describes it as like trains, which the subject of the train, you know, this is a passenger car, and the thing that runs it, the engine, is these right here. Without this, you can't do anything else. And that is technically true, because let me introduce one concept, which is going to be really annoying later on, but I feel like it's worth introducing. The zero noun, which essentially, if you have the context already, you can just completely erase this. You know, you already know what it's like. If you say, like, if you mention something about, like, someone named Jim. Jim is smart, and you don't have to, like, mention his name anymore. Or Jim is kind, if you want to, if I want to use a word I actually know, I guess. Or kind. Yasashi. Jim ga yasashi. And you could refer, you don't have to, like, you know, use the thing, I guess, but you could always just say something like, I guess, yeah, ba. Yabai da. Or I guess not yabai, since it already has an I there, my bad. You don't have to, like, add, like, something is yabai. Like, if you're looking at, like, a bear charging straight at you, you do not have to fucking say something like, the bear, kono kuma ga yabai. You could just say yabai, and it would be complete enough. And Kiradali does get into that later in her thing, but, and, you know, I plan to use her thing as, like, a base of, like, how, you know, how I'm going to do the Japanese thing from now on, but yeah, that's really about it. I'm also going to have to learn kanji because unfortunately most words have it, and I honestly don't think, I genuinely do not think kanji is that hard. It's just memorization, if anything. And in the same vein as Chinese, the more you learn, the more you know, it's easier, because then you're gonna make, like, associations. Like, there are many characters which have, like, the same thing. This is, like, farm field by itself. This is power, combining both of these because it makes the word man, which in historical context, the character man, you're supposed to, you're always assumed to, like, as a man, it's expected of you to like own farmland and have power. So that's why the character for man is that. There is also like, I think this is how you. Right, I completely forgot if there's anything more to it though. I guess not. Yeah, no, this is it. And I believe something like this meant something as well. I think, oh yeah, this means hall, because this means kid, I think, if I remember correctly. And yeah, no, that should be kid. This 男孩子, 女孩子 is like, I don't think. Yeah, no, that's not hall. Never fucking mind. That's like a completely different thing. That's, I don't even think that's a character now that I realize it. So let me just go ahead and look it up. I'm pretty sure hall. Oh wait, no, I was right. Okay then. But yeah, no, the reason why it's written like this is because this is supposed to be like symbolizing a mom or whatever that's supposed to be a kid. And generally, it's a good thing that a mom and a kid are good together, hence why the character is like that. And when you're going through like Japanese class, or not, I guess not Japanese class, I learned most of my stuff in Chinese. I have not taken a Japanese class. I have not learned any kanji whatsoever. That's generally, you know, some of the stuff that you kind of see and whatnot. And, you know, more characters, like the origin of like family or whatnot, if I remember correctly, just like something like this or whatever, which is supposed to, the house, you know, this is supposed to be like the symbol for family, if I remember correctly, which is supposed to be like something regarding a pig under a roof, which is generally symbolized to be like something that is common in families, you know, generally just like a pig in there. This is supposed to be a pig, this thing, and then this thing is supposed to be a roof, and generally this is a roof. This is like supposed to be grass generally, and you know, you have all this, and ta-da, you have like this character as well. There's the grass up there. This character, I am not quite sure, but I mean, there is the sun character right here. This is the moon character, and you know, it's supposed to be shaped like the moon, you know? It might look a bit different, but you know, it's close enough. Fuck you. But yeah, no, that's kind of the thing with kanji in Chinese, is that as you go about it, it gets easier and easier with time, because you're going to learn all these associations and connections. Of course, the pronunciation's always going to be annoyingly difficult, but you know what? You know, like, the pronunciations are going to be different for each character or whatnot, even though, you know, like, some of them will share pronunciations, but you're going to have to memorize which characters have which pronunciations or whatever, which sounds, but generally, since there's a limited amount of sounds and whatnot, it's generally the characters that are different. Like, again, Chinese, you have to learn, I think, about 2,000 or 4,000 characters to read, like, mostly everything, compared to, like, the 1,6 something which exists, if I remember correctly. Japanese, I'm not sure how many kanji there are, but you do not, I don't think you need to memorize all the kanji to read everything. And it's easy, it's surprisingly fast. It's easy to read pretty fast in Chinese and stuff like that, because the information is condensed into one symbol, and you know, you could always extract lots of information. There's also like a theory on like thinking speed and information transfer regarding that, but I am getting off topic. But yeah, no, kanji is going to be easy as long as you're willing to, you know, spend some time to memorize it, because you're going to see connections, because this is, again, the symbol for girl, female, and you know, you are going to like see it, like you're going to use it by itself. And I think it's supposed to be something like this. I don't remember the exact character, but it went something like this. Unfortunately, do not mock me for this, because I certainly do not remember clearly what the fuck it is. I have not written Chinese in so goddamn long, and I sure as hell I'm not going to remember it for learning kanji. And, you know, there are also, like, different things as well regarding, like, how Japanese and Chinese use their characters and whatnot. So, you know, one thing might mean character might mean something different, despite, you know, might mean different things depending on the language and whatnot. So, yeah. I should probably end this video because it's already an hour long.